In engineering physics, we are discussing ultrasonics. In the last session under non-destructive testing, we looked at the function of ultrasonic flaw detector, what is its block diagram, how the flaw can be detected. So based on the placement of transducer, we have two methods of detection. One is a contact method and the other is the immersion method. If you recollect the last session, I told you that I will come back to both contact method and immersion method once again. So in the contact method, the transducer is brought in contact with the test specimen using a suitable couplant. Mostly these couplants are organic liquids like oil, grease, etc. The couplant is used to avoid the formation of air gap between the transducer and the test specimen we have taken. There are straight beam and angle beam techniques involved in this. In case of straight beam, the ultrasonic beam is transmitted into the specimen at an angle of 90 degrees with respect to the specimen surface. So the angle beam technique, when it is used to detect the flaws present at the curved surfaces, and the ultrasonic beam is transmitted at an angle to the test surface. That is not normally happens in contact transducers. We need to understand more about immersion methods. In immersion method or pulse echo method, a leak-proof ultrasonic transducer is used and is not physically in contact with the specimen. So, the specimen and the transducer are immersed in a liquid like a couplant like water. Here the liquid or water you have taken acts as a couplant to transfer the ultrasonic beam from the transducer to the specimen. By this method, there is no wearing of transducer bottom surface. Moreover, the ultrasonic beam can be sent at any desired angle by moving the transducer through the liquid. Here also, there are pulse echo system and through transmission system for the detection of flaws. For example, if you see the immersion method here, so there is a probe assembly. This is a probe assembly. The test specimen you have taken, this is the back surface of the test specimen, this is the front surface. So this is the water tank for the coupling. Okay, the probe is inserted like this. So the specimen provision this is a supporting process for the specimen. So the flaw can be detected here. So through the probe, changes can be observed here, which are seen in the CRT as an image here. So you can probe it at any desired angle of your choice. It's a straight beam technique. Only problem is not all flaws can be detected with this. So here, let us see how it works. This diagram shows us that the immersion pulse echo system, along with the display on the CRO or CRT as a screen. It is a straight beam technique, as I told you. From the display, we can get information about the presence of flaws. Further, the distance of the flaw from the top surface of the specimen and the attenuation of the ultrasonics by the specimen material can be measured. Some of the flaws cannot be identified by the straight beam technique. That can be identified by the next technique, what I am going to explain as angle beam technique. So we'll come to angle beam a little bit later. Here, if you observe carefully, this is the transmission echo. A is the transmission echo, B is the front surface echo, and C is the flaw echo. D is the black surface echo. This is the immersion pulse echo method block diagram. Okay, when you look at the other technique, because there is a drawback here, because not all flaws in the test specimen or the material to be tested can be identified by this technique, because this is a straight beam technique. So therefore, in order to identify all types of flaws in the given specimen, this technique cannot be applied. We have to apply another technique called angle beam technique, which are mainly used for the specimen having a curved surface. Here also we can get information about the flaws present in the curved regions. So that technique is what is known as angle beam technique. This is the angle beam technique. Now here, if you carefully observe, we are using two transducers in angle beam. Here if you carefully observe, there is a transmitted echo, there is a flaw echo. So here two angles are there, phi 1 and phi 2. This is a probe. So we are ensuring that the incident angle is incidentting at a different angle. This is a refracted angle. And flaw can be identified here in the specimen area. This is the back support for the back wall of the test specimen. So here what we need to understand is this technique helps us to identify certain type of flaws which are not possible in the earlier technique based on the incident angle as well as reflected angle. Here phi 1 is the incident angle, phi 2 is the refracted angle, and this A is the transmitted echo. So in order to identify those flaws which are not traceable in the straight beam technique are found through this angle beam technique, where there is an incident angle and a refracted angle, and flaw can be identified clearly in the CRT screen as a transmitted echo as well as a flaw echo. So these two are the angle of incidence and angle of refraction. This is one technique. The other technique used in other cases is through immersion transmission immersion system. Here we use two transducers. One is a transmitter, another is a reflector or receiver. So two transducers are used. So using two transducers placed nearer to the front surface and back surface of the specimen, the detection of flaws in the specimen can easily be identified. Generally, mostly this method is used in straight beam technique. This is called immersion through transmission system. Here you have in the CRT image the transmission echo represented as A, and front surface echo is represented as B, and here the difference is to the right of this only you can find the flaw. Normally the flaw is appeared in between. Here in this case the flaw appears to the right of the screen. So this is another immersion technique you need to understand. So if you carefully observe about all the techniques we have used, always our focus is on the image displayed on the screen of the cathode ray oscilloscope. So therefore, there are different methods to study. In order to study the flaws in the test specimen under ultrasonic testing techniques, the focus is on the study of these patterns. So how do we interpret and understand these images? That is what is known as data representation or data presentation. So our focus is on analysis of the images that are obtained on the CRT so far. So the ultrasonic data can be collected and displayed in number of different formats. There are of course three most common formats are available to understand the scan displays. They are named as A scan, B scan and C scan displays. Each of these display modes provide a different way of looking at and evaluating the region of the material being inspected. Let us understand each of these scans separately and understand how we can interpret the plot obtained from the data for analysis. If you look at the first type, A scan display, this is the most commonly used display. This presentation displays the amount of collected ultrasonic energy as a function of time. So the relative amount of received energy is plotted along the vertical axis, and the time taken by the signal to travel to the reflecting point and return back to the transducer is displayed along the horizontal axis. So the depth of the reflecting point can be determined by the position of the signal on the horizontal sweep. By comparing the amplitudes of the signals received and after reflection, the defect or discontinuity size can be estimated. So if you see the plot here, this is the material under test and this is its scan display after plotting the graph. So if you see this illustration of A scan display of the object, IP here represents the initial pulse generated by the transducer, which is near zero time. So when the transducer is in its left hand position, in addition to eyepiece signal, signal A here is obtained, which corresponds to the sound reflected from surface A. As the transducer is scanned to the right, a signal from the back wall represented as BW here, it appears at a later time. So this indicates that the sound has traveled more distance to reach the back wall than to reach A. So when the transducer is moved over the flaw or the defect, signal B appears. This appears earlier in time since the sound travel path is very shorter time. So from the position of signal B, we can easily estimate the depth of the flaw from the surface. So let us understand B-scan display. The B-scan display is a profile view, otherwise called cross-sectional view of the test specimen. In the B-scan, the travel time of the sound energy is displayed along the vertical axis. The linear position of the transducer is displayed along the horizontal axis. So, for example, in the scan image displayed here in the given figure here, it corresponds to the object that is taken for consideration. Suppose if you say line A here, line A is produced as the transducer is scanned over the reduced thickness portion of the specimen. When the transducer moves to the right of this section, the back wall BW, the back wall line is produced. So when the transducer is over the flaw, that means over the defect, then the line that is similar to the length of the flaw is drawn here. The length of the flaw is drawn on the B-scan at the similar depth only. This is how you can understand about B-scan. Now let us go for C-scan. So when you look at C-scan display, the C-scan display records echoes from internal portions of the test specimen that is taken as a function of position. Flaws are shown on the readout superimposed on a plane view of the test space. Both the flaw size and the position within the plan view are also recorded. In a basic C-scan system, the search unit is scanned over the surface of the test space. The echo intensity is recorded as a variation in the line shading. That is very important thing you need to know. The presence of a defect or a flaw is indicated by an absence of shading, like as shown here. Shading is missing. The C-scan presentation provides an image of the features that reflect the scatter, the sound within and on the surface of the test space. So these scan displays are produced with an automated data acquisition system. So using proper gate circuit, it is possible to image the planes or sections at any depth. For example, this is how side view can be understood. This is how top view can be understood. This is how the C-scan display. The defect is only highlighted. Rest is normally shaded here. So this is what you need to understand. Different display modes of ultrasonic images as A-scan, B-scan and C-scan displays. Now we shall focus on understanding various applications of ultrasonic. Though it is not practically possible to list out all the applications of ultrasonics, to gain some knowledge about its wide usage and utility, let me explain some of the few applications where ultrasonics are being used nowadays in various walks of life. For example, ultrasonic inspection is used for quality control and material inspection in almost all major industries. These techniques of ultrasonics are used in the inspection of failure of railroad rolling stock axis, the pressure columns and earth moving equipments, mill rolls and mixing equipments, etc. Ultrasonic techniques are used in measuring the thickness of metal sections. Ultrasonic techniques are used in the thickness measurements which are made on refinery and chemical processing equipments, submarine hulls, aircraft sections and pressure vessels. Ultrasonic techniques are used to inspect pipe and plate weldments. Ultrasonic techniques are used to inspect pins, bolts and shafts for cracking. Ultrasonic techniques are used to detect internal corrosion. But when you look at the applications of ultrasonics, only non-destructive testing of materials, you have certain applications listed here. Let us understand each of them as ultrasonic applications in non-destructive testing of materials. Like this ultrasonic testing is used in the routine inspection of aircraft and rail vehicles for fatigue cracks. Ultrasonics are used in the testing of defects in welded, casted, forged material that are generally used in industries. Ultrasonic testing is used in the semi-finished products such as bars, pipes, sheets, etc. in metal industries. Ultrasonic inspection is used in testing of any shaped and sized molds. Water immersion technique is used, of course, here to test the irregular shaped materials. Ultrasonic pulse echo technique is used in accurate thickness measurement of materials. Ultrasonic inspection has been carried in the finished products of metals and non-metals. The materials that cannot be tested with other NDT methods can also be tested using ultrasonic testing method. Ultrasonic testing is carried in the periodic inspection of materials used in the corrosion atmosphere and in chemical plants, also the products in operation. In industries, mainly ultrasonics are used in the quality control of products by the assignment of surface and subsurface defects in metallic materials like locomotive axles, crank pins, booster axles, diesel driving axle transaction motor shaft, etc. These are some of the applications of ultrasonics in non-destructive testing. So apart from this, there are few more applications of ultrasonics in general. Let us look at them. So when you look at other general applications of ultrasonics, there are numerous applications, but we shall try to touch only few of them. Like as shown here, destruction of lower life. That means small animals like frogs, rats, fishes, etc. They can easily be killed by the highly intensity ultrasonics. So we have to be careful while using ultrasonic techniques. And then surgical uses. This is very interesting in medical applications. There are a number of surgical uses of ultrasonic waves, including the selecting cutting of tissues during the operation and a very useful for dental cutting. Ultrasonic techniques are used. Fluid is subjected to ultrasonic waves. Its temperature will increase due to the absorption of waves. And depth of sea. Determining the depth of sea is possible. Depth of sea or lakes, position of a ship or a submarine, that is possible through echo principle using ultrasonic techniques. And of course, using ultrasonic techniques, you can have the detection of an iceberg or a submarine. A sharp ultrasonic beam is directed in various directions into the sea. The reflection of the waves from any direction from the sea shows the presence of some reflecting body in the sea. That is the basis on which a submarine presence or an iceberg presence is detected. And of course, cleaning and clearing. Ultrasonic waves can be used for cleaning utensils. Nowadays, you are getting washing machines, washing machines for utensils. So these waves can be used for cleaning utensils, washing clothes, removing dust, and also soot from the chimney. That is possible with ultrasonic waves. And there is something called direction signaling. That means ultrasonic waves can be concentrated into a sharp beam due to smaller wavelength, and therefore they can be used for signaling in a particular direction. And then formation of alloys. The constituents of alloys having widely different densities, they can be kept mixed uniformly by a beam of ultrasonic waves. Thus, it is very easy to get alloy of uniform composition. And treatment of neurologic pain. The body parts affected due to neuralgic or pneumatic pains on being exposed to ultrasonics get great relief from the pain. That is another medical application. And of course, last but not the least, it is possible to detect the abnormal growth. Abnormal growth in the brain, for example, sometimes some tumors which cannot be normally detected by normal X-rays, they can be detected by ultrasonic waves. So these are some of the applications of ultrasonics in various walks of life. So, as a summary, let me brief out what has been discussed in this session. In this session, we tried to understand the ultrasonic testing methods based on the transducer placements like contact method and immersion method. In immersion method also pulse echo method and also angle beam method, followed by through transmission immersion system. And then we have seen under data representation the concept of A scan display, B scan display and C scan display, followed by general applications of ultrasonics in various walks of life, including applications of ultrasonics in non-destructive testing and also applications of ultrasonics in various surgical fields, measuring the depth of the sea or ocean, detection of iceberg and submarines, cleaning and clearing techniques, direction signaling, formulation of alloys and treatment of neurologic pains, detection of abnormal growth in brains, etc. From the university angle, if you look at the summary of questions, like you will be asked to find answers to the questions like what are ultrasonics, give a brief introduction about ultrasonics, write a short note on piezoelectric effect, explain the production of ultrasonics by piezoelectric method, what are the properties of ultrasonics, explain the detection of ultrasonic methods, what are the applications of ultrasonics in non-destructive testing, what are the applications of ultrasonics in other fields. And apart from that, there may be lengthy or essay questions based on define magnetorestriction, describe the method for producing ultrasonics by using magnetostrict method. Apart from magnetorestriction method, explain the production of ultrasonics by piezoelectric method. Mention the various types of methods for detecting the ultrasonics. What is non-destructive testing? What is the principle how flock in a solid can be detected using non-destructive technique method using ultrasonics? What is the transducer? Explain about different types of transducers. What are the applications of ultrasonics in various fields? What is the importance of a couplant? What are the different properties of ultrasonics? How do you detect ultrasonics? What are the important applications? What are the three important applications? Explain the principle about any one method of generating ultrasonic waves. Describe acoustic grating and show that it can be used to determine the velocity of waves in liquids. These are some of the standard questions that are possible in any university examinations. Your thorough practice of this lesson followed by the preparation of your own notes and briefing through that will help you to fare well in the university examinations, right?